under law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Wild Turkey Drew Erickson, one of my more capable, well, kind of capable friends that I met back in college. And he decided that he wanted to try his hand dueling against some of the nastiest elk country Colorado has to offer. So he's here for a week-long hunt in the San Juan Mountains.
Sheep up on the mountains? Yeah, but they're like, just like a trophy tag because they're pretty rare. I mean, they're around, but they're not like how they used to be. Like back in the settler days, it was like you shoot them like cordwood. They're so, but now, like there's like a lot of diseases I heard and stuff too. Like people would run domestic sheep up here and graze them, and they would transmit as like brain disease or something. Yeah.
After bullshitting a little bit, we set up camp and hit the hay early. The next morning, in the pre-dawn darkness, we let out a locator bugle. And it wasn't long before we had a response from not only my bobbles, but also a bull elk. We move in and set up close to where that bull bugled from. We start calling and end up getting him pretty fired up. And we end up calling him and his little harem of cows to about 80 yards away. But he hangs up in the thick brush and he won't come any closer. But the wind is perfect and we have the sun at our back, so we decide to wait and hope he gets curious enough to come check us out. But unfortunately, some other hunters hear the commotion and come busting onto the scene. The elk, they spot these guys and choose to hightail it in the opposite direction from us. It is an awesome start to the first morning of hunting here, and Drew is ecstatic. Me, I'm a little more pessimistic, as I know we won't get many more chances like that again in a unit this heavily pressured. We hightail it out of there and decide to climb and gain some elevation so we can get a better look at the land and hopefully hear some bugles up near the tree line. And once we're up there, we stop for a sweet little photo op. And I'm glad we did, because we heard some very quiet bull vocalizations. He's grunting. Bulls grunt when they're frustrated and they want to breed the cows, but the cows aren't ready yet or they're not in estrus. So we set up and try to make him jealous with some cow calls of our own and a little bit of grunting as well. But unfortunately, this doesn't work. Only one thing happens. We ended up sending that bull in the opposite direction with his cows. I'm going to guess it's due to those cows. They didn't want anything to do with another bull trying to run in and breed them. You can tell from the volume of that bugle that he is headed off in the opposite direction. You don't really ever notice until it's too late, but the mountain is very good and very efficient at kicking your ass. And one of the ways to help prevent the mountain from kicking you too hard is to try and stay hydrated. So we take every advantage that we can every time we cross a good source of water, just like this. We head back out and search for some elk sign, and it isn't long before we're back in another area with a lot of elk. Rubs around, scrapes around, it smells like elk, and there's a lot of tracks. So all we have to do is listen for some more vocalizations as we're in the right area. Once we hear a bull speak up, we can make our move.
She's gonna be here about 2:30. A little bit of the trailhead around then.
What's that?
A little bit at the trailhead at 2:30. That's when she's gonna get here. She says she's losing cell service in and out, but whatever.
Okay.
Pretty sure. We'll see if she drives all the way up here, but I can see her not wanting to take the nice car up across that shitty road you go up here on. I'm taking a bath is the right idea.
Felt good, man.
I smell like shit. What's the plan? So what's our plan then? Are we just gonna go up to back to camp, get some food? We got 4 hours until she's gonna be here. So we could go hunt that back bedded area for a little bit. Just sneak on over there. I can show you it. The wind's gonna be good, so we're not gonna fuck that up.
Well, it's gonna take us all like a half hour to get to the trailhead from our camp.
If that, yeah.
You know.
Especially if we're burning light. I mean, like bring one pack and then just have, because she'll have another pack. And then All we're gonna do is carry food back, right?
Right.
10 pounds of food, and so
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring a lot of food back.
all the food we got, yeah, we'll bring back.
Then, I mean, from there, what we could do is we could get back to camp. I could go work on making that little shelter for a little while too.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and we'll still light out.
So
Okay.
and then later tonight, maybe we can go hunt that backbedding area.
When it's better. Yeah.
With Mercede.
All right.
That's probably the plan, right? What you think?
Let's do it. Works for me.
After finalizing the plan, we head back to camp and ditch some gear so that we would have lighter packs for the pack back to the trailhead. And while doing so, the mom mule deer from the last episode decides to drop in and say hello.
Just picked up Mercede from the trailhead. Gonna get back after it out there. Don't you know?
Out here doing God's work.
After picking up Mercede and the gear, we head back out into the mountains to hunt some more. We call as we move back towards camp, but unfortunately, we never run into any more elk action that night. I'm excited that we have 2 hunters with a single caller now in camp, as this enables so many more situations that we will be able to set up for and try to be successful. For instance, if a single bull elk tries to come and sneak in downwind of us to check out a setup, he's going to end up running straight into the tip of one of their broadheads. We aren't the only ones watching over this valley tonight. Another hunter waits in the trees, and darkness falls before we can run into more elk action. We head out again the next morning.
Gotta get rid of the old hitchhiker in the boot. Gotta take care of them feet.
We end up discovering a freshly used elk wallow up higher on the mountain, and we decide to set up over it and try and call. But after a while, nobody shows up for the party. With a lack of elk action here, Drew and us, we decide to go our different ways. Drew heads off one way, and we head off the opposite direction. Mercede and I, we set up and call as we work our way through the midday dark timber, but to no luck. The elk have been mysteriously quiet, as this is the pre-rut. They should be screaming their heads off, and the only explanation is that the massive hunter pressure in this area has educated these elk, and they're wise to everybody's calling and setups. So, when in doubt, we gain elevation and run into a heavy concentration of fresh elk tracks, and we decide to follow them until the land turns into sky, and we are at the top of the ridgeline. This would be a sweet spot to glass from, so we come up with a new game plan. As the elk aren't responding to any calls, it's time to try some spot and stalk. If you don't think your current hunting strategy is going to work out, it's time to try something new. We meet back up with Drew at the wallow and decide to head back to camp with his fresh new game plan, but while on our way back, we run into a couple of delicious mountain chickens. It's great to keep a grouse arrow in your quiver for moments just like this. And just like this. Mountain hunts are amazing, with plenty of ups, but with the ups, there also has to be some downs.
Oh no.
That's on the phone. Thanks.
Yeah, just walk it off. Every outdoorsman gets annoyed by these little bastards, and I wanted to give this one some payback.